Have you learned anything about yourself so far through these work exchanges?
I guess just seeing, because it's been a lot of women in like their 50s or 60s for me that I've been hanging out with. So then it's kind of like hearing things that they've learned, and it's kind of things that I'm getting insight to now, like at the age of 28 or whatever it is. And so then it's kind of interesting how you can ignore those things or you can learn them when you're young.
I think the biggest one is that perceptions get in the way of a lot of like human beings interaction. So my perceptions of these people coming from other countries are just totally wrong. That like politics get in the way and things like that. So things that I see in the media are just like never true. Not never say never, but with all the international guests, like we had somebody from Egypt, and I had all these misperceptions about Egyptian life, and I got to learn what it's actually like. So I think that's really valuable.
Yeah.
And just that, like, people are people around the world, no matter what America labels them as. Mm-hmm. We're not all the same, but we all kind of have the same core values in the end. So.
Right.
I've learned that I don't know that much, which is kind of... I'm very new to this way of life, and I'm very aware that I don't know that much, and that kind of has come apparent to me trying to use my initiative and then being told, oh, here's an easier way of doing it. It's just like, why didn't I think of that? I've kind of become aware that I like people. I'm more of a people person than I thought I was. I used to live on my own and kind of just do my own thing, but since being out here, I've definitely enjoyed the company of others. I've learned that this is a viable way of living rather than doing a 9 till 5 as a job that I don't particularly enjoy, that I can make this a way of an alternative way of life and sustainable and looking after myself that way rather than having to only do this as a trip and then give it up and go back to the job I was doing or something like that, working in an office.
What's the most important thing you've learned from your father?
Oh my goodness, so many things. I don't know how to phrase this, but almost being positive, like, or having a positive outlook on life, because, I mean, he doesn't have a lot as far as money goes, but he never says he's broke. He never complains about it. He's always like, oh, I don't have the money right now, or some line like that, and he's always working to improve as well. So having a positive outlook on life, and he just never stops. Like, he always has a different project or is trying to improve this place. I mean, it looks pretty dang nice. So he works with what he's got, and I think that's really admirable. But I've learned so many things.
Absolutely.
He's a jack of all trades, true to his name.
For sure. What is the biggest challenge that you've come across so far in this kind of lifestyle?
Well, I think we talked about this the other day, was being as nomadic as you, it's hard to establish long-term friendships and close friendships, which for me at the moment is something that I've realised that I want. And it's kind of hard to do if you're moving around all over the place, if you have to make new friends rather than closer ones. There are a couple smaller things. I mean, like, yeah, you have to be minimalistic, which isn't too much of a challenge, and you have to be prepared to go into a new environment that is completely unknown. But both of those are kind of, you anticipate those. The one I didn't necessarily anticipate was not being able to have a close connection with people.
And if you decide to do this long term, what do you think you'll do about that?
I don't know. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm staying here longer than I planned to, which is because this is a great learning environment and everybody's really friendly. That's kind of what I've been looking for. So I'm staying here longer than I originally planned to, but I'm going to eventually move on. So I guess my strategy would be to find one or two people that I can connect with and try and keep in touch with them via social media or email. So each place, try and have someone that I can be open and myself around. It kind of uses them though, as that's what I require from them. I guess I haven't really thought about this so much. I think maybe I'll just be more open to people in general, and rather than being quite insular, open up more and see just to everybody just kind of and see what connections come out of that.
The biggest thing for me is it is nice. I mean, I like working with you. It's enjoyable working with you. I like doing these jobs, but I do think it's nice when you're a couple to have like a few hours where you're not together, where you're not working together, where you're not. So that's another reason that it's nice when we go to these couples. It's kind of like I work with the women more so and he works with the men. And it just kind of like breaks it up enough. But I would think that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
I enjoy working with you, but it is nice to like work on our own and then come back together at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Come back together or something.
Do you have any advice for anyone viewing this that is thinking about taking the plunge?
Have an open, selfless attitude. Be prepared to work more than what you require from the person. Try and balance the trade so that you're giving more than you feel that you're taking. When arriving at a new person's place, it's not so daunting. It's not like thinking about it is worse than when it actually happens.
Yeah.
If the woman seems batshit crazy and has no idea what she's doing, don't stick around. That's pretty much sums up the first one.
You're not talking about me, right?
No.
It was kind of scary thinking like, well, shit, what if this all doesn't fall through? Like, what if these plans and it's a house and I quit my job and so it's like a lot weighing on this, but
then we've also met people who are in their 70s doing workaway and they have nothing. Like they don't have any land, they don't have a house, and then they start to have health problems and then... So I guess the point of this is that workaway is great and all, but I don't think it's something to base your entire life necessarily on for the rest of your life.
I would say just be brave. I don't know. Or if your life is leading you in that direction, then follow the direction that your life is leading.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not hard to just go off.
It gets easier as you go.
Yeah, that too.
I'm not the type of person to just like not plan things. Like I like to plan things. So I've had to break away from that a lot in doing this and realize that like you really can just kind of go with the flow of it and it connects and it works. And
so I'm not planning things ever.
Yeah, so that helps.
So that helps.
Yeah, I've gotten better.
Yeah.
It'll get better still.
You're making progress. It's fine.
You guys are adorable. What are your thoughts on the 50-year plan?
Seems rather gigantic to plan anything for 50 years. It's got a nice ring to it. Sounds a little idealistic. I don't want to be judgmental either. It could be just wonderful. I mean, it's a wonderful idea. It will be interesting to see how it works out for you.
But if you stick to it, there'll be a very interesting insight on each of the states and multitudes of hosts and volunteers. It'll be a good place for people thinking about this lifestyle. A good resource to see what actual people who have experienced it or are experiencing it, what their attitudes are towards it, towards this lifestyle, and hopefully whether it'll make people want to do it more, or make them realize, like, yeah, this is the thing for me, or oh no, that's not what I want to do. And you'll have a different experience though, like as someone 30 years from now. Your experiences will be different to you currently. So depending on which route you take, you may see the States slightly differently. Depending on, because everybody changes as they get older. I hope you go through with it all the way, because it'll be a very cool thing to have on record.
So I like the idea. It's just like we were saying, is we've met people who are like 70 years old. So they had some struggles, because if you can't do the work that the people want from you, then they're obviously going to kick you out. So then you have to like immediately find another place to go. Making this a full-time deal, and then for spending a year in each state or whatever, I think it's a good idea and fun and all. It's just, I feel that when you get older, you're probably going to want to start, this is how I feel that you'll feel, is you're going to want to calm down.
But maybe he'll,
maybe
through doing, I understand.
Yeah.
And I think that you make the connections and that all leads to wherever.
But I think also if you meet more people that are like, well, in their 50s doing this, which we hadn't until recently, but we started to see some of the problems that they were facing, being 70 and homeless and basically basing their life on workaway, which is cool and all. It's just, I see it being
not something you want to depend on, is what you're saying, when you're older.
Yeah.
I think what your overall goal is, like, to show Americans that going in the system isn't the only way, is something that we really need right now, because Americans have just gone to school and worked in an office for a lot of years, and there's so much more to life than that. And so I think it's really cool what you want to show to the world. And also the fact that it doesn't necessarily matter to you if you make money off of it or not. I think you put a lot more heart into it if you are not expecting to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Standing on the corner with a nickel or a dime, used to be a rail car, take you down the line. Too much beer.